Hi, this is MaryEllen with Portraits of Me, and today I am doing my March wrap-up. Thank you guys for joining me again for this monthly wrap-up. I am trying to be more consistent with sharing the books that I read the previous month, and this is my second month in a row that I'm actually doing a wrap-up, so I'm very proud of myself. So for the month of March, I did participate in middle grade March. So I did read a lot of middle grade. I had 11 books on my middle grade TBR, and I read 9 of them. So I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be, but that was because I got a little burnout from reading so much middle grade that I had to switch it up a bit and read 4 additional books. So this wrap-up is not going to be about my middle grade. I'm doing a separate wrap-up on that one to share all the wonderful books that I did read. This wrap-up is for the 4 additional books that I tagged on to my reading list for March. So I am happy to share that with you, and I'm going to start with this one right here. And as always, I always forget to write down what I rated them on Goodreads. So instead of me telling you what I rated them, I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen to show you how many stars I gave them. I'm going to try to get better. The more I do this, hopefully the better it gets. So let's get to the first book. These aren't in any order. I'm just pulling them off the pile beside me. So this book right here that I want to talk to you about is Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. This book was so interesting. So this is a continuation of the tale of Cinderella. So it's not a retelling, it's a continuation of the original story. So this one is talking about the stepsister that tried to take Cinderella's place by cutting part of her foot off to fit in the glass slipper. Of course, she's discovered, but this tells the tale of that stepsister. And this tale was so good, I really did enjoy it. I think though I gave it 3 stars because even though I liked the story, it wasn't something that I can read over and over again. One time telling was good enough for me. But this is about Isabel. That's the name of that stepsister, is Isabel. And I liked her. I liked her character. I liked her sisters, the other stepsister's character. I liked the supporting cast of characters in the story. The only one I really didn't enjoy was the stepmother to Cinderella, because she seemed so far from what she was in the original Cinderella story. So her character kind of took a 360 turn kind of thing, and I didn't really care for how she was written. But as for the stepsisters, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed this tale. I enjoyed the magic involved. Overall, it was a pretty good story. Just 3 stars for me because although I liked it, it wasn't something that was fantastic or something that blew my mind or something that I will reread often. But overall, if you're into that type of story, pick up Stepsister. Another book that I read as well as listened to the audio was this book right here. This is An Ember in the Ashes, and oh boy, you guys, I really enjoyed this story. So this book right here is about the main character, who's a young woman. Her name is Leia or Laya. I can't remember, you guys. I listened to this audio like over 3 weeks ago and I can't remember how to pronounce the name. It is spelled L-A-I-A. But Leia, that's how I pronounced it in my head when I was reading it, because I read part of it and listened part of it on audio. Anyway, I pronounced it Leia in my head. I know the audio said it differently, but it's about her, whose brother is captured and charged with treason, and she has to work with some rebels to try to get her brother rescued. So she goes undercover to work for this like really mean lady. I forgot her name, but it's at this academy, which is really cool because it has a map on the book too. So this is the academy she's working in, trying to get information to give to the rebels. And the story was so well done. I really enjoyed this book. I was blown away by it. For some reason, I didn't expect it to be so good, but the characters were done fantastically well. They were well-rounded. It made me care for them. The magic system was very interesting. It kept my interest, and the complexity of the story of going undercover, trying to figure out some mysteries. The whole story was so good. So I am looking forward to continuing this series, and I'm so glad I picked this book up this month. And then I read 2 books from the Book of the Month Club because I'm trying to get through those as well so I can get my next box. I had to skip April because I have too many books from them that I haven't read. But I read 2 this month. And the first one is The Whisper Man. And this book is about kids who were disappearing that ended up saying that they heard whispering at their window before they disappeared. And so it's the mystery of who is the Whisper Man. And it's about this boy who moves into a new house with his dad after his mom passes away. And he starts hearing the whispers. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. Very good book. Has the creepy thriller aspect of it, but not too creepy where it freaked me out. But it had some creepy moments inside this book. It also has the detective aspect of a mystery. So there's 2 detectives you're following as well who are trying to track down the Whisper Man. And normally I'm not a big fan of detective stories, but this was really well done. It wasn't very detective heavy. There were still a lot of stories about these characters. And so I really did enjoy it. Love the book, and glad that I read it. And now I'm actually passing this on to my cousin because he wants to read it, and so this is now his copy. And the last book I want to share with you is another book of the month, because like I said, I'm trying to read my Book of the Month Club books when I get them, so that way they're not just sitting on my shelf forever, because why have a subscription to them and you're not reading them? So this is the March pick for Book of the Month. It is The 2 Lives of Lydia, Byrd. And this one, you guys, was a really cute tale. It's a genre I normally don't read, so I did give it 3 stars, but I'm sure if you're into the contemporary romance kind of stories, you probably like this a lot. This is about Lydia, who loses her husband but finds him in her dreams. And so she's living this dual life, awake and asleep. And so it's her journey through grief with losing her husband, but then finding him again in her dreams, and how she deals with that discovery and with her loss. So I thought it was a really good story. I enjoyed the characters and the story surrounding her and her husband. However, since I'm not a big fan of romance or contemporary, I felt this dragged a little bit too long for me. I was kind of like wanting to have the story progress faster than it was progressing. And then towards the 3/4 of the way through this book, I was pretty much done with it, and I just wanted to find out the ending. I kind of was done with the world. But overall, it was a satisfactory story. I enjoyed it. I thought the characters were well done, and if you are into that type of story, I think you would really enjoy this book. But that's the last book that I read for the month of March. So if you have read any of these books or have any feedback about them, please consider leaving me a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on any of these books. And as always, you guys, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I do try to post a video at least once a week. And as always, you guys, have a great morning, day, evening, or night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!